Morning, a little after 7. I heard through the grapevine somebody in the neighborhood thinks I got some mental problems. And I asked my friend who said this to me, who was carrying the message to me, but wouldn't tell me who said it. I'm like, who said that? And he thinks I'm mad. I guess, man, he thinks like I would get mad, be upset at the person who said I got some mental problems. Like somebody there was talking about me and said they think I might have some mental issues. And I'm trying, and I said myself, my reaction was, well, we all got some mental issues. The difference is some of us realize it and some of us don't. You know, there are those of us who are working on our mental issues and those who are not. We all have them. I'm like, I'm living in a fucking canoe. Do you think it's a secret that I got some fucking mental issues? Do you think it's a mystery to me or that I don't know? I'm living in a canoe. Like, think about it. Come on. Normal people don't do this. Normal people go canoeing for a day. They don't go, I'm going to sail 1,000 miles in that canoe. You know? I think I'll spend the next 5 years in a canoe. You know, who does that? Me. You know, because, yeah, I got some issues. I'm not asking who said that so I could go get mad at them. I'm asking who said that because I'm just wondering who among us is perceptive enough to realize it, that I got some issues. You know? Like, maybe I could have a conversation with this guy. He's got his feet planted in the air, and he's talking about me, so I'm on his mind, or whoever it is, his or her. You know, it's like, well, they're thinking of me and they got me pegged. You know, like, we can have a real conversation. Finally, somebody that sees. You know, thank you for recognizing. Whoever it was, my buddy Jeff won't tell me who it was, so like, whoever you are, if you're out there and you see this, man, I mean, hey, thanks for recognizing. Could you tell the Social Security office so I could get my check? You know? Be nice if I could get a check for it. There's all these not crazy people getting a crazy check, and here I am, like, proving it, and I don't get one. So they don't give me a check because I'm too independently crazy to get a check. Like, I'm verifiably crazy, but I'm independently crazy. Like, I don't need somebody to wipe my butt or feed me or any of that. The biggest reason I don't get a check is because there's no pill that will cure this kind of crazy. Like, you have to actually address the problem if you want to fix anything in my life. And like, there's no procedure you can do to me that will fix the problems that cause my crazy. There's no pill you can give me. There's no therapy that will make my crazy go away. It is possible to make my crazy go away, but you'd have to address all these issues that no one wants to get into because they're systemic. Like you'd have to change the system we live in, and that won't happen. Not in a way that's going to take away my crazy. Like, I have to be crazy because we live in a crazy society, and it has me in a crazy place. This is what I was born in, to be. And like, this world created me. I'm a product of it. And like, this is how I react to what I've been handed. I decided I enjoy living in a canoe more than living with all these people out there. I'd rather face the storms and the alligators and mosquitoes and all the deadly shit out here than live in a box on the street and do the regular, like, the things that don't work for me. If that means I'm crazy, then I guess so. You know, man, one of my great teachers once said, if the shoe fits, wear it. So that's how I got the name Captain Kedger. You see, I was in a 24-foot Buccaneer. I sailed out of Tampa Bay many decades ago, and as a matter of fact, it happened to be Fort Myers, over in the backwater behind the beach area. I pulled up in there in that boat with an ex-girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend, and it was dark. I didn't have charts. I didn't have a depth sounder. And that boat has like a 3.5, 4-foot keel, shoal keel. So it's no big deal. You know, it doesn't hurt the boat to land on its keel at low tide, but I came into the anchorage and anchored up in a spot out of the way of the other boats where I thought it was a good spot, and turned out to be shallows. We woke up at low tide, leaning over 45 degrees, laying sideways in the boat up against the wall. So I kedged off to a better spot. We had to stay at the boat till the tide came in. Stuck there. And then when the tide came in, I kedged off rather than firing up and all that, you know. I just kedged off to what I thought was a good spot. When the tide went out, again, I was over on my side again. And the tide came in, I kedged off again. And when the tide went out, I was on my side again. Like 3 or 4 tides, man. It was like 2.5 days of kedging around the bay before I finally found a spot where I was out of the way of other boats, but not hitting bottom at low tide. And never once during that whole time did I ever start the motor or hoist a sail and really move any. I was just kedging around with the anchor. So when I went to shore, the people on land started making fun of me. Apparently they were calling me Captain Kedger. And I was like, I thought about all the times, all the places I've been, how many times I've felt like it was just easier to use the motor or the anchor, like on my way to shore, to just grab the anchor from the dinghy and move it over to here or there. You know, like how many times have I kedged off rather than fire up the motor and make a big thing of it? You know, and I've moved my boat all the way across the bay with just the anchors. Like, oh, I get up in the morning, I want to go across the river to the other side, and the wind's blowing that way and the tide's slack, there's no current, and my boat's pointed right at it. If I just pull the anchor up, I'll drift right over there. And so I do. When I get there, I throw the brakes. I throw the freaking hook over the side when I get where I want to be, or a little close to it. I might throw the brakes and slow it down a little early and kind of work my way in there with another anchor. But I've done this a million times throughout the years sailing. And so when all these people were calling me Captain Kedger, I thought, okay, yeah, I'll wear that badge. And I became Captain Kedger. And that's that. It's like, okay, I'll be Captain Kedger for you. Because I do, actually, I do happen to kedge quite a bit. Where do I shit? Hopefully in a toilet. You ever seen a Coast Guard patrol boat? Boxman? You ever seen a Coast Guard patrol boat? Or the little rescue boats, or the boats they board other boats with? You ever notice there's like 6 people on it sometimes, and no toilet, and they're out there for 8 hours? I asked the Coast Guard guy about that once. No, I have a portalet here on board. I'm just kind of trying to make you think. Because the rules are, I'm actually more moralistic with my shit than the rules are. Like, the law says that you got to do this, that, and the third. And I'm like, okay, I could get away with that, but I don't want to do that because that's kind of gross. Yeah, you think that you're gonna join the Navy and the Coast Guard, and they're gonna put you on a boat out at sea with 5 females, huh? That's about what it would take me to join too. I don't need to join an organization to rescue people. I just do it when I see it. Like, I see somebody needs to be rescued. If I can rescue them, I'll rescue them. But I'm not the guy they call. There's no bat phone on my boat. Don't call me for a rescue unless I'm within earshot. Ew, that's mouthwash. Don't eat that, fishy. That's mouthwash and spit. Little snapper fish want to come up and get, well, maybe they just want to get some mouthwash too. I guess the fish deserve to have fresh breath. Why not? Okay. See, we might end up on the Lost Island. Like, yeah. Well, Boxman, we could write you off. You by yourself on an island with 5 women, your chances of survival are pretty much 0. You know why? You didn't bring no help. There are 5 women. You're really not thinking this through, dude. You want to bring 5 women and you can't even handle one. Now, who's going to build the hut? You? You ever built a shelter in the woods? Try to satisfy 5 women? I could satisfy at least 2 or 3 women, but not while I'm building a hut. I gotta have the hut already built before you even bring the women. No, see, you gotta think it through. You gotta bring 2 patsies and 3 women. And then what you do is you get the 2 patsies to help you build the hut, and then you get the 3 women to kick them out. And then it's you and the 3 women in the hut that you and the 2 patsies built. See? Yeah, you got to get the village built first. See, I could tell you haven't spent much time in the wilderness because you don't understand how much work is involved in freaking keeping 6 people fed while building the hut and doing all the work yourself. 1 person doing the work of 6 people is not gonna be fun, dude. I'm telling you. Have you ever seen these survival shows? You ever noticed that the women don't survive? They spend the first 3 days trying to figure out where they're going to set up, and then nagging over how big it needs to be and how nice it needs to be. And then they build a chimney out of wood and stare in wonder as they watch their shelter burn down 3 days later when the chimney catches fire. And like 6 people next to the water would be bad. Yes, it would. You never camp next to the water. No, that's not how it works here. You camp next to the water and you become the food. I'm in the gator swamps. That's the first rule of thumb. Don't camp next to the water. And if you live next to the water, the food don't just come out of the water at you. Right. Yeah. They wait for the man to build the house that they're going to live in. And then they kick him out and get another man. For the next, like, to, you know, like, they don't, you don't want to bring a bunch of women and no men and try to build a village and live happily ever after. Bro, you're going to want a sane human being to talk to, and that ain't female. Like, what do you... Let me see. Make sure I get... Wallet, cigarette slider, phone. I'm gonna need socks and shoes for this journey. I've literally paddled all the way to shore and tossed my bags of trash up there and getting ready to step on shore, and then realize I forgot my shoes and socks. I had to come all the way back. Yeah, no, except the gators are protected here. You can't just poach them. You go to jail right away. They don't even give you a fine for that. They just take you straight to jail. They catch you killing gators out of season. That snapper right there is almost big enough to catch, but he probably is, but I wouldn't kill him. He's too friendly. He likes me, and it wouldn't be fair, because he gets my dinner. If I wanted to go after snapper, I'd go somewhere else where I'm not anchored up cleaning my dishes at night. Pardon me while I rummage through my clutter and try to find some clean socks. I know I have some here somewhere. The question is, can I find them? I got clean jeans. That's food. I put them somewhere. I think they're here. Right where they're easy to find. There we have it. Somewhere with gators would be easier to feed them all to the gators, is what you're saying, is because, see, you'd set up camp right next to the water and you'd go to sleep at night and wake up and one of them would be drug off already into the water with her dog. Her little dog that she brought. Oh man, I caught a guy with his newborn baby and his young wife, all these shiny new camping gear tools, and man, he had everything, man. He was set up. This guy has like got every piece of gear you could imagine, but it's never been used. He's out there away from all the other campers right next to this lake that's full of big, huge alligators, and they're hungry. It's early in the season, and they're over there licking their chops as he spoke, you know. Like, either this guy really wants a good look at gators and he knows what he's doing, or he's really dumb and doesn't have a clue. And I walked over and I said, you come to get a good look at the alligators? And his wife's jaw dropped. And he said, oh no, there's no gators in this lake. And I was like, bro, you don't know where you is, do you? Because I literally that same day, that morning, was standing there talking to this pretty girl who had a camera on a tripod and was taking footage of the big, massive alligator that had been laying on the island in the middle of that lake that day. And I was like, yes, there are. There's lots of alligators in that lake. And he says, no, there are no alligators in this lake. And I said, bro, I'm telling you. He says, and his wife was getting more and more upset because apparently he had assured her that there are no alligators in that lake. And so he looks at me and he says, I am an environmental scientist, and I assure you there are no alligators in this lake. And I says, well, I'm just a herpetologist. I'm not an environmental scientist, so what do I know? You know, like, but you know, I studied reptiles and amphibians. I was a member of the Orlando Herpetological Society for 9 years. And I says, but yeah, I didn't tell him all this, but I'm like, well, you're the expert. Since you're an environmental scientist, who am I to argue with you? Call National Geographic and call the Guinness Book of World Records, or whoever we got to call, because we've discovered a new species. Listen, you get a hold of you're the environmental scientist. You get a hold of the right authorities we're going to report this. I'm going to go get the girl who was taking the pictures of the new species, because apparently we've discovered a new species of lizard. There is a giant lizard living in that lake, and she's got the footage. And since you assure me it's not an alligator, it looked exactly like an alligator. But since you, as an environmental scientist, are assuring me that it's not an alligator, we're going to get rich. We've discovered a new species. He started taking his tent down and packing it up and putting it in his truck and moving over to where the other campers were with his newborn baby. You know, like, I'm like, dude, it's getting late. It's getting to be evening time, and they're going to come out to feed, and you're right next to it with a newborn baby. Really? I was hearing them, like, as we were talking, I was hearing them all. You know how they do their little croaking thing to mimic a bullfrog? They were out there doing it with their little eyes like sticking up and just doing that thing that they do, that little grunt that says, come here, come and get a frog. I have a surprise for you. They try to mimic a toad, so a bird will come to get the toad, and then they go, and the bird's gone. At least I think that's what they're doing. I could be wrong. but I think they're like trying to mimic the sound of their prey, or the prey of their prey. Ooh, man, we got some water in the canoe today. Bunch of trash. Maybe I shouldn't have put my socks on yet. That was probably a mistake, because I'm gonna be wading in water for a minute here. Good time to practice my balance. Stand on one foot and disrobe with the other hand. Alrighty. Stow my toe covers. Bow line. Here's the fun part. You sit into the canoe and all the water comes to one end and all of a sudden it wants to flip. Mine doesn't really do that so much because I got so much shit in it. The weight in it keeps it center of gravity low. Gotta pay attention, make sure I'm not scooping up any trash or cigarette butts. Ah, crap. Oh well. I don't like taking the dagger with me to work. Part of my sailboat. It needs to stay with the sailboat. got 4 people here. Who's here? Boxman, you still here, Evan? Anybody ever seen a close-up view of a green heron nest? I believe this one got abandoned this season because it set it up right there. I don't know. I know the couple of green herons that live in this area moved from here around the corner. Because all the kayakers and canoers and john boats come through here. What a mess. I gotta get rid of that sleeping bag. It's all funky now. About to get blinded by morning sunlight. I'll make a beeline for the shade on the other side. Still bailing a little water out from yesterday's rain. Morning, Adrian. Mr. Geographer. You know, if you really wanted to simplify that term, geographer, you could call it an earth rider. That could be your Indian name. Adrian maps the earth. go, bright light. Here we go again, being blinded by the light, but not revved up like a deuce. Yep. Still bailing water. Every day until winter. Let's do this. Let's paddle off into the sun. Actually, let me get this sleeping bag out of the view. Tuck it in where it's not snagging branches on the way. There we go. Ooh. And we're off to the salt mines. Let's go get some money. Let's go get some money so we can eat some bacon. So, Boxman, you still here? You want to get sent onto an island with 5 women. What tools do you bring? What kind of gear would you bring to an island where you're stranded with 5 women? Mind you, you're not trying to leave or get rescued. You're trying to build a village. Because your intention was to get stranded with them. Alright? So, So what did you bring with you to make that happen? Because you got 5 women to feed and please now. Hopefully the first thing you brought was some birth control. Because 5 women turn into 25 children if you don't. So I'm just wondering if you really thought it through. Like, how are you going to feed you and your 5 women? I'm not guessing they're all going to be happy just living on coconuts, or that you're going to have coconuts in season all the time. So how are you going to make water? You know, the odds are the island you find doesn't have a natural spring on it, so it's probably just surrounded by salt water. And there might be some coconuts that you can reach sometimes, but not all the time. And you get diarrhea if that's all you drink. So you got to have a plan, buddy. You got 6 mouths to feed. What are you gonna do? I don't know if he's still here, but this is his fantasy, so I'm just wondering how we carry it to its natural conclusion of everyone dies. Because he didn't really think it through. And he didn't have a plan. And he didn't have the skills that are required to feed 6 people off what you can get on an island. Huh. He didn't plan that far ahead. Just get stranded long enough to get laid, hopefully, by one of them. Damn, see, this is why he's single. I don't need nobody to tell me why I'm single. I'm a poor, broke, old, gray-haired man missing his teeth and freaking live on a canoe. That's pretty self-explanatory. I knew if I chose to live this way, I'd be living like a monk and avoid a lot of drama. I might as well be a monk in a canoe, because every woman I meet, one of us ain't interested. Usually her, but often me. They're fun to look at. I'm not gonna lie and pretend I don't like to look at women. The problem is start talking. And it's like, ah, man. Not so much that they're talking, it's what they say. And even worse, all right, folks, I'm here, and that's about as exciting as it gets. Till next time, y'all be good, be kind to yourselves and each other, and see you later.